Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity, building homes and hope in Milwaukee's Central City for the past 22 years. The concept for Habitat for Humanity began over 60 years ago when Clarence Jordan, a Baptist minister, and his wife Florence, a librarian, decided they were going to practice their beliefs and formed the Koinonia Farm just outside Americus, Georgia. They invited people of all color and faiths to join them in this lifestyle, a commune environment where they pooled their money, built shelters together, and raised food to eat and to sell for needed supplies. This was unthinkable during a time when the country was experiencing much racial strife and segregation was enforced in their area. After finishing law school, Millard Fuller went into partnership in a marketing firm. At 29 years of age, he was a millionaire with poor health and a failing marriage. It was at this point that he and his wife Linda decided to turn away from the millionaire lifestyle and rededicate their lives to serving God. In 1968, they went to live at the Koinonia Farm. Later, Millard and Linda Fuller took these same principles of partnership housing to Zaire, Africa, where they lived and built more than 100 shelters during their 3-year stay there. After returning to the United States, Millard and Linda Fuller founded Habitat for Humanity in 1976. The vision of the Fullers was to eliminate substandard housing around the world. 25% or 1.5 billion people live in substandard housing or have no homes at all. 5.1 million American families have worst-case housing needs, forced to pay more than half their income for housing, endure overcrowded conditions, and or live in houses with severe physical deficiencies. While the number of families in poverty is growing, the number of affordable rental units is shrinking, and most families who qualify for government housing assistance aren't receiving any aid. Worldwide, the need is even greater. Some 2 billion people worldwide live in poverty housing. More than 1 billion live in urban slums, and that figure is expected to double by 2030. Housing problems have far-reaching consequences. The high cost of housing leaves low-income families little money for other basic necessities like food, clothing, or health care. Substandard housing can endanger the health and safety of its occupants, erode their hope and self-worth, and impair their children's ability to succeed in school. Habitat for Humanity is changing lives. Working in partnership with low-income families to build decent homes they can afford to buy, Habitat helps to break the cycle of poverty and hopelessness. Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity is one of 2,100 affiliates of Habitat for Humanity International, based in Americus, Georgia. Habitat now builds in 100 countries worldwide. Over 200,000 Habitat homes have been built and more than 1 million people housed throughout the world since its ministry began 30 years ago. Former President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind have been devoted volunteers for many years, each year leading a work project to communities in this country as well as around the world. This October, they led homeowners and volunteers in building simple, decent, affordable houses in Lonavala, India. By the end of 2006, Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity will have built or rehabilitated 323 homes since 1984. Of that number, 228 represent new construction, and 95 are complete rehabs of existing homes. We currently build in 4 neighborhoods: Midtown, Walnut Hill, Washington Park, and Metcalf Park. This area is generally from 20th to 40th Streets between Valete and Center. Here's what we're up against. These are actual pictures of homes in the neighborhood where we are working. And here's what we're doing about it. We try to cluster homes for more impact on the appearance of the neighborhood, and so that Habitat homeowners can support each other, very much like a neighborhood watch program. This year we are building 6 different house models. Most are 3 bedrooms, 1 bath that run about 1,100 square feet. The exterior has vinyl siding and trim. Some landscaping and fencing is included. Concrete parking pads, walks, and steps are also provided. For the interior, all flooring, cabinetry, plumbing, and lighting fixtures, security system, and mini blinds for bath and bedrooms are included in the price of the house. We try to vary models so that they don't end up looking like cookie cutters. Families are screened and selected by a committee using set criteria. In order to be eligible for homeownership, a family must, number one, need decent affordable housing. They must be a first-time homeowner and unable to obtain a traditional mortgage through a lending institution. They must have low to very low income, falling within the 30 to 60% median income level for Milwaukee County, as set forth by HUD guidelines. This amount will vary depending on the number of people in their family. They must be able to repay their loan, so they need to have a decent credit history. They must be on their current job for at least a year. And they must earn 500 hours of sweat equity, which means they need to work alongside other volunteers on their house or another Habitat house during their construction. Tina has 4 boys to care for, 2 sons and 2 nephews who she agreed to raise as her own. Before moving into their Habitat home, they lived in a 2-bedroom public housing unit. Michael and Rebecca have 3 children. The Jacksons were paying their rent, but the homeowner had not been paying the mortgage. They found themselves caught in the middle of a foreclosure situation and needed to vacate. Heidi's youngest child was born with Down syndrome. While Heidi makes a decent wage, the medical expenses she faces made it difficult for her to afford decent housing. Ours is not a giveaway. We consider our program a hand up, not a handout. Houses are sold at no profit with no interest. The average cost of a home is $60,000 to $65,000. The average monthly payment is $450, which covers the principal on the loan, the real estate taxes, and homeowner's insurance. While the house is being built, Habitat acts as the contractor, scheduling workers and making sure materials are at the worksite when needed. After closing on the home, Habitat then becomes the bank, and the homeowner pays back the monthly payments on their loan directly to Habitat. The beauty of our program is that all money is then recycled back into the fund and continues to build more and more houses. Most of our revenue comes from cash contributions from churches, corporations, individuals, and foundations, 69% in fact. Mortgage payments from homeowners make up nearly 17%, and another 14% comes from in-kind donations and special events. One statistic we are very proud of at Milwaukee Habitat is that more than 90 cents of every dollar donated goes directly to the building of homes for families. If you're not interested in construction, there are lots of other ways you can get involved with Habitat. We have annual projects and events to meet your interests, an annual dinner auction in March, a plant exchange in June, a wine tasting event in September, and an ongoing playhouse project throughout the year. Plus, there's always a need for getting the Habitat word out to others through our Speakers Bureau and newsletter. You can imagine how hungry construction volunteers get. Donations of food and preparation are always welcome. The Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity Restore is underway at 801 South 60th Street in Milwaukee. We are accepting donations of new and saleable used building materials for resale to the general public, the proceeds from which will fund Habitat projects. At Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity, we're building more than houses. Working together, we are building friendships, communities, pride, dignity, skills, and dreams. As we raise walls together, we raise their awareness of each other. We find understanding and acceptance through working together. As we are building the porch, we are building bridges from the suburbs to the central city, bridging the groups of people that live in each. This is what Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity is all about. Partnerships that for the last 22 years have built homes and hope with low-income families. What started in Milwaukee, fueled by the passion and vision of a small group of individuals, has grown to a vibrant, established organization that is counted on as a source of hope and light in our community. At Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity, we're making a difference.